A very important section. Of course, entire Bhagavad Gita is very important. But this chapter, as the name confirms, this is a summary of entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay. 53 pending, is it? I thought we did last week. No? 53 not done? Okay, we'll do 53 also and then 54. So this chapter will give us indication of what is the essence of entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So request everyone to be attentive in the class. Avoid getting distracted with alternate attraction so that you don't miss the essence. So this is, let me share the PPT. This is the breakup of chapter 2. Okay. There are 5 sections in this chapter, and we have almost finished 4 sections. I mean, last verse we'll do from section 4, as probably mentioned, and we'll move to last section of this chapter. First section from verse number 1 to 10. Arjuna's doubts continue from first chapter in terms of why he should not fight the battle. Okay. Where is everyone? Sunlita Prabhu, Chitra Mataji, everybody is coming. Okay. And the first section in verse number 7, Arjuna surrenders unto Krishna, seeks his help, accepts Krishna as his spiritual master, and asks for help very submissively. Okay. In the second section, after Arjuna surrenders, Krishna starts answering one by one Arjuna's queries or arguments. Arjuna gave, as I mentioned, 5 reasons why he should not fight the battle. Now Krishna will start answering. Okay. In the section 2, from verse number 11 to 30, is called Jnana section, in which Krishna explains what is the difference between body and soul. Okay. The most important knowledge every human being should have, if at all they want to make their life meaningful, successful. If they don't understand this, anything they may do is useless. Okay. So Arjuna's first argument was compassion, karuna. He was not willing to kill his relatives, his guru, his Pitamaha, Bhishma Pitamaha, on the ground that I don't want to become killer of my own relatives. And Krishna told him, you cannot kill them. Even if you want to kill them, you cannot kill them because they are not this body. They're actually eternal soul. So there is no way anyone can cause any harm to the soul. Okay. And we discussed in the previous section when we were revising, Arjuna's compassion was false compassion, material compassion, compassion for the body of his relatives, not the soul. In the third section from verse number 31 to 38, Krishna talks about Karam Kand. Karam Kand means, following religion for material benefits. And there are many people who follow, they pose themselves as religious people, dharmic people. But the entire intention of following religion is to get some material benefits. They go to temple with a list of items they want from the Lord. And they do business with him. You do this, I will do this. Isn't it? Like Savaria said, a lot of people go and do business with him. You give me this and I'll give you this. Okay. This is called Karam Kand. Religion for the sake of sense gratification, religion for the sake of material benefits. Arjuna's argument was, how will I enjoy it? So Krishna said, you will enjoy whether you fight or you die in the battle. In both the situations, there is only gain, there is no loss. If you win the battlefield, you get kingdom. If you die, you go to heaven. So there is no loss, isn't it? But if you don't fight and run away, there is only loss. One, it will be treated as a sinful action of renouncing one's duty of a Kshatriya. It is sinful. And second, you will be called as coward, darpok, kair. So both ways there is a loss. So on the basis of Karma Kanda, he tried to nullify the argument of Arjuna. And the fourth section, now Krishna is answering a very important question of Arjuna. Arjuna said, if I kill my own relatives, I will incur sinful reactions. It will be sinful if I kill my own guru. It will be sinful if I kill my own Bhishma Pitama. It will be sinful if I kill my, cousin brothers. Now Arjuna is getting real knowledge from Lord Shri Krishna that how to perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. Karam Kanda is Sakam, isn't it? With desire in mind. But Nishkam Karma Yoga is doing something without expectation of the result or without attachment to the result. Nishkam Karma Yoga. One is Sakam and the opposite is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Doing karma without attachment to the result, and then one is free of all the reactions. And we've discussed this in detail in the previous verses. So one does karma with knowledge, not without knowledge. And he remains detached from the fruit of his work. Okay. Why detachment from the fruit is important? Who will explain? Why Krishna is saying one should not be attached to the fruits of his action? It is sinful. Krishna is saying if you work for results, it is sinful. Can anyone explain? Why is Krishna saying like this? if everyone could switch on your video, it'll be nice. Yes, Satyanarayan Prabhu.
अगर हम उसके परिणाम को ही ध्यान में रख के कर्म करेंगे तो उसका परिणाम सुख दुख जो भी होगा उसको भुगतना पड़ेगा, फिर उसका परिणाम वापस उसके लिए नया जन्म लेना पड़ेगा। तो ये चक्र चलता रहेगा जन्म मृत्यु का, जरा व्याधि।
Okay, very good. So why is Krishna calling any action done with a desire to enjoy? Then he becomes the cause of the action and becomes entangled in the karmic reaction. This is how law of nature works, unfortunately. New people who have joined today may not understand this, but have patience. I'm sure gradually it will be clear in the due course of time. Okay. So Krishna is advising him, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. A lot of Indians talk about this verse, but they don't understand the meaning of this verse. Karmanyavadhikaraste, कर्म करने का अधिकार है, मा फलेषु कदाचना, फल पे अधिकार नहीं है। फल पे अधिकार रखोगे तो फंस जाओगे। If you try to claim result or the fruit of your action, one will get entangled in the karmic reactions. So Krishna is explaining, if you fight this battle without attachment to the result, simply follow my instruction and do it as a duty. And then you'll be free from all sinful reactions. Okay. So Arjuna thought, if I don't kill them, I'll be free from sinful reactions. Krishna is telling them, if you fight and kill them, you will be free from sinful reactions. Completely opposite. Yes or no? Arjuna is thinking, I should not fight the battle. If I fight, it'll be sinful. Krishna is saying, no. If you don't fight, it'll be sinful. So many times in our life, we have some point of views, our mental concoctions, which we think is right. In my opinion, this is right. But that opinion has no meaning if it is not supported by scriptures, Vedic knowledge, the real truth. What we think mentally may not be a truth. But what the information we get from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, it is absolute truth. No one can deny it. No one can prove that wrong. But here are 25 people in the screen. If I ask opinion about something, I'll get 25 opinions. Yes or no? So all of them can be right? No. Just mental concoction. Mind is a factory of opinions. Mind is a factory of desires. We'll discuss this in detail in the next verse, when we talk about Pajahati Yada Kaman Sarva, in that verse. Okay. So Krishna is explaining what is Nishkam Karma Yoga, so that you can do your duty, at the same time you can free yourself from karmic reactions. Okay. So this is a wonderful science explained only in Bhagavad Gita. Nowhere else. Arjuna only became an instrument to receive this knowledge. This knowledge is actually meant for all of us, people in Kali Yuga. When was this knowledge given to Arjuna? When Dwapar Yuga was about to end and Kali Yuga was about to start. So Krishna chose this time to deliver this knowledge to one of his confidential devotee called Arjuna for the benefit of people in Kali Yuga. It is not meant for Arjuna. Arjuna only became an instrument. so that this knowledge can be passed on to us, people of Kali Yuga. We need it the most. Why we need the most? Anyone? Why people of Kali Yuga need this knowledge the most? Anyone? Why do we need this knowledge the most? People of Kali Yuga. Simple, no? Yes, Leena Mataji.
I think because they say that Kali Yuga people have 4 defects, so they have they don't have the capacity.
4 defects are there in everyone, whether Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar, Kali Yuga. Incomplete senses, everyone. Propensity to cheat, everywhere, in all the yugas. But in Kali Yuga, people are more obsessed with their body, and hence lot of material desires, and hence lot of sinful actions, and hence most sick people, deceased, materially deceased people in Kali Yuga, and hence they need this medicine the most. Does that make sense? In Satyuga, people had more obsession with Almighty, with the God. In Kali Yuga, people have more obsession with the body, their own body, their own needs and desires. Yes or no? We can see around. Entire industry today is working towards meeting material desires of this body. Everything is around eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. How do we eat better? Different shops, different chains, different variety of food. Yeah. How do we sleep better? Skyscrapers, big bungalows, big swimming pools in the houses. How do we defend better? Dangerous weapons, nuclear weapons, atomic weapons, rifles, stain guns. How do we have sex better? Yes. So people in Kali Yuga, their life revolves around only these 4 things. And hence, they are the most materialistic people, most sinful people, and hence most sick people. And hence they need this medicine of Bhagavad Gita the most. Does it make sense? जो ज्यादा बीमार है उसको ज्यादा आवश्यकता है दवाई की ना. स्वस्थ आदमी को कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. A healthy person does not, require medicine. Only sick people require medicine. But who takes medicine? Who is actually interested to become healthy? Intelligent person, no? Who will take the medicine? Who is serious about recovering his health? So we all are in that category. We are genuinely interested to reduce this disease of materialism, obsession with material sense objects. Okay, so this is the section in which Krishna explained about Buddhi Yoga. How do we connect our intelligence with Krishna and learn how to perform actions without having any repercussion, without having any reaction, or play safe. Do karma which is not binding, which is liberating. So this is a section which Krishna explained Buddhi Yoga. And the next section, Arjuna is going to ask, okay, you have mentioned about a person who is fully fixed in Krishna consciousness, or who is a devotee, or who is fixed in Buddhi Yoga. I want to understand what are the symptoms of such a devotee. How does he behave? How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he sit? What does he think? What does he eat? Okay. So this is a very practical session to see how you can differentiate devotee from a non-devotee based on his behavior, based on his reaction in different circumstances, difficult circumstances. Devotee and non-devotee would behave very differently. Okay. So very, very important section to see where do we stand when Krishna is talking about the symptoms of a devotee or one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness, fixed in devotion. What are his symptoms? So that will be important for our self-evaluation and learn how to actually develop these symptoms. Okay. So we'll quickly read verse number 53 and then move to 54 and 55. Okay. So you can recite after me. Okay. Shruti viparati panna te yada sthashyati nischala samadha vachala buddhis tada yogam avapshasi. Okay. And its translation and purport goes like this. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Okay. What is Krishna replying? When your mind is no longer disturbed by flowery language of Vedas, what does it mean? When your mind is no longer allured, attracted to material objects. As we read in Vedas, there is a section called as Karma Kanda, in which there are different ways how to satisfy material desires, how to attain different things materially, following Vedic injunction. Following Vedic yagyas, different methods of dan, tapaha. Okay. So based on Vedas, how do we satisfy material desires? So when he's saying, when you're not no more attracted by, such material sense enjoyment, and then when it remains fixed in trance of self-realization, and when you continue to remain fixed in your devotional path, then you have attained divine consciousness. What does it mean? That we are all surrounded by so many material objects, which is trying to attract our attention, isn't it? Through eyes, through ears, through nose, through touch, yes or no, through tongue. There's so many allurements in our vicinity, in our neighborhood, in our surroundings. So Krishna is saying, when you are no more attracted to such material objects and you remain fixed in your devotional path, it means you have attained divine or spiritual consciousness. Or the other way around, it is only spiritual consciousness which can protect you from materialism. There's no other way. As long as you're doing your sadhana, you are protected from getting attracted to Maya. Okay, does it make sense? It means if you keep chanting, your attraction to material sense objects will be minimum. If you keep taking only prasadam, your attraction to nonsensical stuff outside will be minimum. Okay. If you keep smelling flowers offered to the Lord, your attraction to variety of perfumes, fragrances will be limited. If you're touching deities, if you're taking darshan of deities every day, your attraction to the opposite sex will be minimum. Okay. So when you continue to perform devotional activities, your attraction to material sense objects will be limited. This is the beauty of spiritual activities. And I'm not sure whether you have experienced, the moment you slacken your spiritual activities, you can see your attraction to the external world increases. Your attraction to sense objects increases. Your propensity to enjoy materially increases. Have you ever experienced this? If you don't chant, then you see how day goes. If you don't eat prasadam, then you see how your tongue, is getting attracted to so many other things available outside, or talking nonsensical things. So practically, spiritual activities are to spiritualize our senses so that their attraction to material sense objects goes down. Okay. Spiritualize means purify our material sense. And purification means removing material desires from the senses. It's called purification of senses. Then one is fixed, one can be peaceful. Otherwise, one cannot be peaceful. If one is carrying so many material desires in his mind, he just cannot be peaceful. Okay. So the root cause of one's anxiety, one's stress, one's depression is largely material desires in our mind. Okay, nothing else. So which reflect mind is contaminated. And the process of spirituality is to purify that mind or senses from these distractions of sense objects. Okay. When you go to a mall, your different senses get attracted to different objects, isn't it? Your eyes get attracted to opposite sex, yes or no? Your eyes get attracted to different objects visible in the window of the shop, yes or no? Your tongue get attracted to pizza corner, burger corner, ice cream, yes or no? This is a natural attraction. So when you have 5 senses getting attracted to 5 different things at the same time, that makes us mad. That is the root cause of our anxiety. Unstable mind. When mind is free of all these desires, then one is peaceful. But one can be free of material desires when mind is spiritualized with the process of chanting the holy name. There is no other way. Okay, so this is where Krishna ended talking about Buddhi Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga. And the today's section, Arjuna is going to ask a question. Okay. So the next section primarily is from verse number 54 to 72, which is the end of this chapter. Okay. Basically, what are the symptoms of a self-realized person or one who is acting in Krishna consciousness? The first symptom is, which we'll discuss in detail later on, the practical application is when one who is fully fixed in Krishna consciousness or devotion, he is beyond the disturbances of external material phenomena. He is protected from external disturbances, external anxieties. He can experience bliss, transcendence even in this material body. This is a symptom of a devotee. It means he is peaceful, calm, composed in all stressful situations, so-called stressful situations. Second, he experiences a sense of satisfaction. Trupti is a fundamental symptom of one fixed in the understanding of the constitutional position. Always satisfied with whatever he has. Sudama had nothing, but he was always satisfied. Hiranyakashipu had everything. He was always dissatisfied. So the richest person is not one who has the maximum wealth. The richest person is one who is satisfied. And the poorest person is not one who does not have wealth. Poorest person is one who is not satisfied. Okay. And in the material world, there is nothing called as satisfaction. That's why there is ever increasing anxiety. No one is satisfied. However much you may earn, however you may earn name, fame, wealth, you are still not satisfied. You will never be satisfied. This is the nature of this material world. So unless you bring Krishna into your life and spiritualize your material desires into spiritual desires, then you learn how to be satisfied in all circumstances. So Arjuna is asking symptoms of such a satisfied, self-realized person, devotee. Okay, so he's going to ask 4 questions in this next verse, verse number 54, and then Krishna is going to answer all these questions. So he's asking 4 questions. What are the general symptoms of a person who is fixed in Krishna or Krishna consciousness, which will be answered in verse number 55. How does he speak? Answered in 56 and 57. How does he sit? Now, this sit doesn't mean literally sitting. Okay, sitting has a deeper meaning, which I'll explain later. Speaking has a deeper meaning. Walking has a deeper meaning, which we'll discuss later. And answered in subsequent verses. Okay, and the person who is fixed in devotion, fixed in Krishna consciousness, is called as Sthita Pragya. Sthita means fixed. Sthita Pragya. Okay, one who is fixed in divine consciousness or Krishna consciousness, or one who is self-realized person. Okay, any questions so far before we move ahead? You can raise your hand electronically if you have a question. Anyone has any question? आप सबको समझ आ रहा है कि नहीं? Are you able to follow? Just shake your head. रेणु माता जी, आपको समझ आ रहा है? Okay, very good. Pradeep Gupta Prabhuji, are you able to follow? Okay, very nice. Tripathi, Dilip Kumar Nath Prabhuji. Okay, very good. So can we move ahead? Okay. Sandeep Prabhu, are you able to follow? Hare Krishna. Okay. I hope everybody is there while your videos are off. That is my biggest worry. Okay. Okay, you're driving, Anil Prabhu, huh? Okay. Let's move ahead. This is verse number 54. You can recite after me. Arjun Uvacha Sthit Pragasya Ka Bhasha Samadhisthasya Keshava Sthitdhi Kim Prabhasheta Kimasita Vrajet Kim. Everybody is not reciting. Even reciting the verse is purifying. So don't miss this opportunity. Okay? Arjun Uvacha Sthit Pragasya Ka Bhasha Samadhisthasya Keshava Sthitdhi Kim Prabhasheta Kimasita Vrajet Kim. One more time. Arjun Uvacha Sthit Pragasya Ka Bhasha Samadhisthasya Keshava Sthitdhi Kim Prabhasheta Kimasita Vrajet Kim. Okay. Word by word meaning is like this. Arjun Uvacha means Arjuna said, okay, Sthit Pragasya means of one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness. Ka means what? Bhasha means language. Samadhi sthasya of one situated in trance. Keshava, O Krishna. Sthitdhi, one fixed in Krishna consciousness. Kim, what? Prabhasheta, speaks. Kim, how? Asita, does remain still. Vrajeta, walks. Kim, how? Translated purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Okay. Repeat after me when I speak. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Okay. And the purport Prabhupada writes, as there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is Krishna conscious has his particular nature. Talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a deceased man has his symptoms by which he is known as deceased, or as a learned man has his symptom, so a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters related to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow, as stated below. Okay. So as I mentioned, Arjuna is asking 4 questions in this verse. What are the general symptoms of a devotee? Of a devotee who is fully fixed in Krishna consciousness. Fully fixed matlab nothing can deviate him from his path. No problem in life, no success, no failure, no respect, no insult. No victory, no defeat can deviate him from this path of Krishna consciousness. Fully fixed. So tell me, what are the general symptoms of such a devotee? Prabhupada is writing, like every person has something. Rich person has a symptom to recognize he is a rich person. A deceased person can be recognized he is a deceased person. Isn't it? Poor person can be recognized, his clothes will be torn. Isn't it? He will not have too many material objects. Similarly, like everyone has some symptom, similarly, a person who is fixed in Krishna consciousness has specific symptoms, which Arjuna is trying to identify, find out. And second is, how does he speak? One is literal speaking, and second meaning of speaking is, how does he respond to different situations in his life? Speaking is a reflection of his mind, yes or no? What words he speaks is a reflection of his mind, his intelligence, his emotions, yes or no? So practically what he speaks is a reflection of how he is responding in different situations in his life. Everyone has, situations like one becomes successful in his life and becomes over-elated, overjoyed. So there are people who can't even digest success. They get a heart attack. Have you heard about somebody got a lottery and got heart attack? They can't digest. They can't tolerate success. Tolerating success, tolerating praise is more difficult than tolerating insult and defeat. You know that? So you need tolerance even to tolerate success more than failure. You need, more tolerance to tolerate appreciation, praise, then you need tolerance to tolerate insult. So Arjuna is asking, how does this person in Krishna consciousness behave or respond to different situations in his life practically? This is second question. Third question is, how does he sit? Sit means inaction, isn't it? Sitting reflects inaction. So Arjuna is asking how this person who is fixed in Krishna consciousness able to control his senses. Sitting means his deeper meaning is how this person is able to, because all the senses are always active, running here and there, getting attracted to different objects around. How this person is able to control them. Later we will read, even for the most intelligent person, it is difficult to control his senses. What to speak of a normal person? Vishwamitra, you heard about Vishwamitra, no? He could not control his sense and got attracted to Menaka. Such a learned, yogi could not control his sense. What to speak of you and me? Brahmaji got attracted to his daughter. What to speak of you and me? So how this devotee is able to do such a difficult job of controlling one's senses? अपनी इंद्रियों को कैसे नियंत्रण में रखता है? और चौथा प्रश्न है, how does he walk? Means how and where does he engage his senses? Because senses cannot be made inactive. Like छोटे बच्चे को, you cannot ask him to sit for half an hour. Can a small kid sit for half an hour just because you're telling? Yes or no? इनके बच्चे हो बताएं. आप बच्चे को बोलिए, छोटे 4 साल के बच्चे को आधा घंटा बैठ जाओ. You sit for half an hour. Will you sit? No, he cannot be inactive. Similarly, our senses cannot be inactive. They have to be engaged in something or the other. So Arjuna is asking, if he is controlling his senses from material sense objects, where is he engaging these senses? कहाँ लगा रहा है इंद्रियों को? Which is more meaningful than material sense objects. So what are these 4 questions? First question, Nidhi Mataji, क्या है? What is the first question?
Prabhuji, first question was, how does he speak? How does a devotee speak?
Okay. What are the general symptoms? Okay.
Yeah, general symptoms.
Ashe. And second question is, Mamta Mataji? Okay, you're connecting this. Okay, Manju Mataji, what's your second question?
वॉकिंग चलना, डिवोटी को किस प्रकार से चलना चाहिए?
नहीं, दूसरा प्रश्न है, how does he respond to different situations in his life? है ना? किस तरह से अलग-अलग स्थितियों में क्या उसका बिहेवियर रहता है? और तीसरा है, किस तरह से बैठता है, यानी कि अपनी इंद्रियों को कैसे वश में रखता है? How does he control his senses? And fourth is, where does he engage his senses? So please remember these 4 questions. Memorize these 4 questions. So that when answer comes, you're able to recall what did Arjuna ask and how is Krishna responding to these questions. Okay. So second question is, how does he respond? And third question is, how he is able to control his senses. Senses means, controlling senses means controlling urges of senses. Right? Suppose you're eating, your prasadam, and you're being offered with 2 rasgullas. Okay. Now there's an urge, even though your stomach is full, there's an urge to eat more. Yes or no? Yes or no? Suppose you go to a 5-star restaurant. You have so much of variety. Your stomach is filled. You still want to eat something. This is urge to eat. Somebody is saying something to you, but you don't want to listen. Instead, you want to say something. This is urge to speak. No control. We don't want to listen. We just want to speak. Yes. Then there is an urge of stomach, udar. Then there is an urge of mind. Mind is getting attracted to so many things. Sometimes mind will say, you take this. After that, it will say, no, no, this. Suppose you go and you go to buy some sari, from a shopkeeper. How does your mind bother you? Tell me. First, पहले बोलेगा ये वाला कलर अच्छा है. This green color is good. They have almost made a decision to buy green sari. No. This red is good. Oh, no. This pink is better. You go to buy a car. You have different models. Your mind will first say, okay, buy this. Then no, buy this model. This is how mind works. Sankalpa, vikalpa. Accept, reject, accept, reject, accept, reject. Root cause of our anxiety is our mind. और हम दिन भर ऐसे मन की बातें सुनते हैं और उन पर अमल करते हैं. We hear these mental concoctions throughout the day. This is called urge of mind. Like this, there are 6 urges. There are 6 urges. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udarupastha vegam. 6 veg matlab urge. When you have an intense desire to attain something, this is called veg or urge. Yes or no? So पहला वाचो वेगम, वाणी का वेग, urge to speak. Second, वाचो वेगम, मन, urge of mind. मनसा क्रोध वेगम, urge of anger. Isn't it? When you're, somebody doesn't agree with you, you get angry immediately. When, something becomes an obstacle in your sense gratification, you become angry immediately. This is the urge to get angry. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam. Urge of the tongue, urges of the tongue. Jiva ka veg. Then udar upastha vegam, urges of your stomach, udar. And then upastha, urges of genitals, sex organs, their urges. There are 6 urges which we have to learn to control. So devotee controls all these 6 urges successfully. And any criminal act in society is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. Okay? Any sinful act, any criminal act in the society, any war between nations is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. Fights on the road is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. Abusive language is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. Unlimited sex is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. Relationship which are unauthorized, illicit, is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. Tendency to commit suicide is a reflection of uncontrolled senses. You can understand how important it is to control senses. Devotee understands and knows how to control them and stay away from these sinful acts. For an ordinary person, Very difficult. In ISKCON, we are asked to, follow 4 regulative principles. Stop meat eating, stop drinking, stop gambling, stop having illicit sex. And the entire, modern generation is running towards these 4 things. Isn't it? So many slaughterhouses getting opened to kill animals just to satisfy, moment of, tongue's desire. When somebody is eating, say chicken, how long he gets joy? 2 minutes, 1 minute. For that 1 minute joy, somebody's life is taken away. Just see, it is a reflection of uncontrolled sense. So with uncontrolled senses, one can go to any extreme and commit any act, any criminal act, just for momentary pleasure. For a moment of pleasure, one can do anything because of uncontrolled senses. And we are taught how to control senses. This is real knowledge. If one is taught how to control senses, all anomalies in the society will disappear. When Prabhupada went to US to preach Krishna consciousness, his first target was hippie community. All hippies who were engrossed in all kinds of drugs, meat eating, illicit sex. Those were his first target, to make them devotees. And the US government spent billions of dollars to make their youth leave drug addiction, but they failed miserably. They could not do anything. After spending millions of dollars, they could not make their hippies leave drug addiction, which Prabhupada did within a month's time. Help them control their senses. All of them left meat eating. All of them left drinking. All of them left illicit sex, just within little span of time, because they were taught how to control senses. So if at all we have to teach our children something meaningful, is to teach them how to control the senses. All bad habits will run away, disappear. Okay. So Arjuna is asking, how does he control his senses? And then finally, as we said, senses cannot be kept inactive. Arjuna is asking his last question, where is he engaging his senses? Okay, these 4 questions asked by Arjuna. And one who has learned how to control senses is called as Goswami. Go means senses and Swami means who can control, master these senses. And one who is not able to control his senses is called as Godas. He is a servant of senses. So one is master of senses, another is servant of senses. What would you like to become? Servant of senses or master of senses? Dr. Lokeshwari, what is your choice? Master of senses. Yes. So all these Goswami, जो अपना surname लगाते हैं, they are only for the namesake Goswamis. They're actually Godas. They're actually servants of senses. Goswami means, Rup Goswami says, Vacho vegam, manasa krodh vegam, jiva vegam, udarupastha vegam, etan vegan yovishhet dhira sarva mapima shishya prithim cha shishyat. one who has learned how to control senses, he only can become a guru, spiritual master. Okay. So we have so many sadhus. You see them, smoking, drinking, playing football, but wearing saffron clothes, even having so many women around them. They are not sadhus. They are not gurus. Fake sadhus. So how to recognize one is sadhu or not, whether he has learned how to control his senses or not. When he has the most beautiful women in front of him and he is not agitated. He has his favorite item in front of him and he's not agitated to eat. This is called sense control. So Krishna is going to teach how to control senses. The only way to, bring reforms in society. There's no other way. Prabhupada used to say, United Nations is only for the namesake. Where are these nations united? In United Nations office, you see 100 flags. Yes or no? 100 flags represent disunited global community or united global community? Tell me. If they're united, they will have one flag, not 100 flags. Yes or no? So simply, very crude example I used to give. If you keep 5 or 10 dogs inside a room, can you expect peace, silence in that room? Can you expect? There'll be no noise in the room. Because all of them have no control of their senses. So if you keep 5 countries in the United Nations who have no control of their senses, you can't expect peace. You go to Vrindavan, ISKCON temple, you will find a devotee from every nationality. Russian, American, Australian, Bangladeshi, Pakistani. All of them sit together, eat together, dance together, pray together. This is United Nations. All of them have one flag, Krishna consciousness. No other goal, one goal, common goal. So unless you have a common goal, you cannot bring, unity. Yes or no? People who are working corporate life, if your company doesn't have one goal, all departments will work in different directions. Okay. So sense control is a very important subject, and hopefully we'll learn it, in the due course of time. And the next verse, should we do it today? We have only 10 minutes left. So we'll do it in the next session. Verse number 55, which is the answer to the first question of Arjuna. What are the general symptoms of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness? So if you have any question, you can ask. And I would like to hear, experience from Dr. Lokeshwari also, this being first class. Yes, Mataji, if you could unmute and share your experience.
It was good.
Okay, what did you like?
I learned a lot. I learned.
Okay, your voice is not clear.
Can you hear me?
Your voice is breaking in between.
I learned a lot today, Swamiji.
Okay,
It was good.
You can call me Prabhuji. Swamiji is sitting behind me. Our Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any question anyone has? Then I have a couple of discussion points before I move. किसी का प्रश्न है तो पूछ सकते हैं. Any curiosity, any comment? don't leave the class and just have patience for another 5 minutes. Yes, Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you mentioned that committing suicide is also uncontrolled senses, but committing suicide is due to depression. So how is that uncontrolled senses, Prabhuji?
Depression is a disease of mind, Mataji,
Yes.
right? So why will one commit, suicide unless his mind is not under control? So when mind is out of control, then one, resorts to such sinful acts like committing suicide. So committing suicide is a reflection of weak mind. Depressed
Okay.
mind means weak mind.
Right.
Okay. So it is also
Okay.
uncontrolled. So there are 5 senses plus mind is also considered as a sense.
Okay, I understand.
And
Thank you.
Krishna, thank you, Mataji. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manha, he says, Mamev ansh jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manha shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. He says, everyone in this material world is struggling due to these 6 senses. Manha shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Karshati means sangharsh. हर व्यक्ति संघर्ष कर रहा है, स्ट्रगल कर रहा है because of these 6 uncontrolled senses.
Okay, Prabhuji, I understand now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you contemplate on this thought today. Okay, how much control you have? Are you Godas or Goswami? Okay, do some reflection. Take a moment and think about it. Okay, any other question? Shivani Mataji, Jagdish Prabhu, Anju Mataji, any question? Anil Prabhu, do you have a question? Okay, no question. सब कुछ समझ आ गया हैं? As I say, there are only 2 possibilities. You have not understood anything or you have understood everything. So which is the reality? Understood everything, understood nothing? Pradeep Prabhuji, understood everything?
प्रभु जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
अभी तो आपने सर एक विशाल समुद्र वो दिखाया है, अभी तो दृश्य देख रहे हैं, तो प्रश्न तो आएंगे।
अच्छा ठीक है, हाँ
अभी तो
हाँ प्रश्न पूछना, asking question is a reflection of intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah, when we contemplate, when we think, then questions arise in our mind, isn't it? So you contemplate on what you heard today before it goes out of mind. Okay. Thank you, Pradeep. Okay, so a couple of announcements. One, yes. One, I was talking to Sunila Prabhu yesterday, and asking him, whether we can start our physical class. Okay, now because a lot of people are anyway meeting and are going for picnics and all that. So I wanted opinion from everyone. Do you think are we in position to start, so that we meet physically and learn? People who are joining from outside Udaipur, they can continue to join through Zoom. Okay, but people from Udaipur, we can meet, same time, 9:30, 10, whatever, sorry, like time we had earlier when we used to meet 9:30 or 10 a.m. and then have a class like that. So I would like to hear from you. Okay, Pradeep was saying let us wait for 1 or 2 weeks, no problem. Any other view? Please. Rakesh Bhavsar Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm with you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mamta Mataji.
Prabhuji, we can wait for a week or so, Prabhuji, week or two.
No
maybe.
problem, no problem. We can wait week 2, no problem. Any other view? Nita Mataji. We'll wait for 1 or 2 weeks.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay, okay. Daya Mataji.
टाइम क्या रहेगा? 9
Morning,
to वही 9
morning
9:30
10 to 11:30 12 ऐसे लिख लीजिए, मतलब ये सुबह का टाइम सेम टाइम रहेगा आसपास
on Sunday.
on Sunday.
Okay. Yes.
And we'll keep it in the temple, Prabhuji, this time. So Prabhuji is okay?
जी,
Is that okay?
जी.
So that everybody gets a chance to visit temple also. You know? Take darshan of the deities also. और जो पेरेंट्स हैं उनको भाग दौड़ नहीं करनी पड़ेगी, पहले बच्चों को यहाँ छोड़ो, फिर वहां जाओ, फिर वहां से यहाँ आओ. Sunil Prabhuji, is that okay?
Not okay, Prabhuji.
I was expecting this. So what we can do is we can do, yes, क्या बोलते हैं अपना डॉक्टर विश्वास को क्या बोलना चाहते हैं?
प्रभु जी, मेरा एक सजेशन है, जैसा मैं देख रहा हूँ उदयपुर से जितने हैं डिवोटीज, हम ऐसे स्टेप बाय स्टेप शुरू कर सकते हैं. हाफ ऑफ द पीपल से 1-2 वीक में शुरू करते हैं, 2 हफ्ते बाद सभी जनों को अकोमोडेट कर पाए, ताकि मतलब इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द रूम एंड हाउ मेनी पीपल आर कमिंग. तो हल्का फुल्का डिस्टेंस रख के शुरू कर सकते हैं. तो शुरू में स्टेप बाय स्टेप करें तो
इसमें से अभी जो है उसमें प्रभु जी काफी बाहर से हैं. दिलीप कुमार प्रभु बाहर से हैं, निधि माता जी बाहर से हैं, डॉक्टर लोकेश्वरी बाहर से हैं, मंजू माता जी बाहर से हैं, राइट. और कौन बाहर से हैं? ये नीचे प्राण सखी माता जी बाहर से हैं. तो काफी सारे भक्त बाहर से हैं. अनीता माता जी कोलंबो से हैं. तो देयर मेनी पीपल फ्रॉम आउटसाइड. So you can see half of what we have today. Maybe 15 odd people will be there physically.
और 15 में भी प्रभु जी मतलब कंफर्टेबल अभी फिलहाल नहीं है सिचुएशन को देखते हुए, तो वी कैन असेस द सिचुएशन व्हाइल गैदरिंग हाफ ऑफ रिमेनिंग.
Okay, so we wait for some more time, look at the situation, but principally we agree to shift, maybe let's say within maybe 3-4 weeks time, and we'll do it in temple and sometimes in Sunil Ladha Prabhu's office. Is that okay, Prabhuji? Now win-win. Okay, so we'll use both the places. Okay, so you get to see Jagannath ji also in the temple, take their darshan. You'll get temple spiritual atmosphere. वहाँ पर भी spiritually है वैसे. Prabhuji did wonderful arrangement for all of us. Actually, I must share with you, he had to convert that into his office, but he did not do it. He said it is only for devotees to come and have class. So he has a very big heart, Sunil Prabhu, and we'll always be indebted to him, thankful to him. But we'll go to his office very often to have our picnics and retreats and feast prasadam. Radhika Mata नजर नहीं आ रहे प्रभु जी कहाँ? ओके. राधा ही माता ये मंदिर में आकर खिचड़ी बनाएंगे सब भक्तों के लिए, जगन्नाथ जी को भोग लगाएंगे. ठीक है माता जी, आपकी सेवा है. हाँ, ओके, बहुत अच्छा. और दूसरा मैंने क्या लिखा है? हाँ, next week we have a special session. I've invited somebody who was a fashion designer, very famous fashion designer, used to have exhibitions in London, European countries. And now she is Sardarni, third. And now she has become a wonderful preacher of Krishna consciousness. मैंने उनका एक वीडियो भेजा था. I don't know कितने लोगों ने सुना है उसको.
मेरा
सुना है? हाँ. So she'll be joining us next week, okay, to share her experience, and maybe next verse also she can only take. Okay, so don't miss next session, and feel free to ask any queries you may have. Okay. So you can ask her, to share her, Krishna conscious journey with all of you, to inspire all of you. Okay. And third is, जो नए भक्त ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, I'll send you some videos for you to run through, which is, you can say, foundation course before we read Bhagavad Gita. So just hear them, and then if required, we can have a session separately to answer your queries, whatever queries you may have, separate session. Okay, like Pradeep Prabhu, Lokeshwari Mataji, and she didn't join today, Sunil Prabhu. Kya naam hai? Sri Shanu Mataji. I was expecting her today. So there are 3-4 people like that, so we can have a separate session to take you through what we've done in the first 2 chapters so far and answer your queries. Okay. कोई किसी का कोई प्रश्न है तो पूछ सकते हैं आप before we close. All right, yes, Radhika Mataji.
रोज जो क्विज आ रही है तो उसका लिटरेचर मिल सकता है क्या?
वो उनमें से नहीं आएंगे प्रश्न माता जी. अच्छा, एक चीज जो और पूछनी थी, आई वांट टू आस्क यू, सॉरी राधिका माता, मैं आता हूं आपके क्वेश्चन के ऊपर. टेल मी, इफ वी हैव टू शिफ्ट दिस क्लास टू एनी अदर डे अदर देन संडे, हाउ मेनी आर कंफर्टेबल? Tell me how many are saying no. Raise your hand. Other than Sunday, I want to see percentage.
No.
Tell me reasons why.
It is all set, Prabhuji. Why disturb?
Okay, that is one reason. What else? Any other, reason?
Plus working day में morning में it becomes, I think it is tough for evening क्यों करा?
Prabhuji, due to frequent visits and all, other than Sunday, it is getting difficult.
Okay, all right. We'll try to keep it Sunday and then but shift to temple so that you get all temple atmosphere. And sometimes in Sundar Prabhu's office. Yeah, Radhika Mati, आप कुछ कह रहे थे? अनम्यूट करके बोलिए माता जी.
एक क्विज जो रोज आ रही है तो उसका लिटरेचर मिल सकता है क्या?
Literature in the sense?
Printed पेपर.
All questions. आपके क्विज में सब अलग क्वेश्चंस आएंगे माता जी, इसमें से नहीं आएंगे.
ना फिर भी ये अच्छे क्वेश्चंस है
मनन करने. भेज देंगे. I'll arrange.
वो इसमें से आए कि नहीं आए वो प्रश्न नहीं है.
Yes, I'll arrange. ठीक है, मैं भिजवा दूंगा. All right, Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो. Thank you very much, everyone.